Anyway, well, last topic. Last thing that we're going to talk about today.
Barrett Courtney, friend or foe?
Barrett Courtney, friend or foe? The last thing I want to talk about is sort of not a general thing, and it probably won't be that long of a topic, but as I said earlier, like I was able to catch up on a lot of media, and because of that, I was able to watch the Comedy Central roast on Rob Lowe. And so that happened. That was a thing. And I generally enjoy roasts every year. I thought it was a little weird.
You get like a good kind of sizzle going on.
Medium rare. You put it in a stew when you're done with it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was an interesting choice for Rob Lowe because he's like even more like he's even less relevant than he was before he got onto Parks and Rec. And that was sort of like the ongoing joke that entire night. Is like, "Ha, he's not relevant," and I was like, "Yeah, so why are we doing this?"
Trump. And
so, you know, you had a decent lineup there. Peyton Manning like killed it. He was like really, really fucking good. And you know, there's a lot of shit thrown towards him, basically for looking like a
goddamn sports mascot.
Basically looking deformed. But he was able to throw that like right back. Like he was able to take like it was all like he's able to take the heat and he was able to give the heat back. And that was like, and that's like those good moments where you have someone who's not typically a comedian like doing that. And you had other people. There was like an SNL kid on there. There was another 80s star that Rob Lowe was in The Outsiders with. You had
David Spade.
David Spade was the host, which I thought was like he was a good host, I would say.
David Spade, also known as Funny Matthew McConaughey.
And someone compared him to the female version of Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, they got like really fucking. They got really fucked up with specifically David Spade, and then also he's British, something Carr. David Carr, the fancy like British comedian.
Yeah. Traditional guy who appears at roasts. Yeah,
so he was there. He did pretty well. But then you have this other outsider. Like I talked about Peyton Manning, right? Not an obvious choice, but
they brought back The Situation.
No, they brought back something worse.
Ann Coulter.
The ghost lady from the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
So Ann Coulter was on this roast, and no one really understood why.
Yeah, I had a hard time understanding why.
And I feel like she didn't even really understand why. And I have a huge problem with I sort of put together why she was put on the show. It's because everybody, like, no one knew what to expect from Ann Coulter, right? And I think the people in charge of like who to bring on for the roast knew exactly what to expect from Ann Coulter, was that she was going to bomb because she's a Republican, because she's a crazy fucking Republican. And I think that's sort of
the kind of Republican who says that Phyllis Schlafly was a great model for women.
Yeah. And so like she goes up and her bit almost is entirely centered around how she thinks Donald Trump is the best, and a couple slights against,
and then just ends with
she made she's promoting it. She literally brought out her like new book on stage and shit, and it was like a lot of weird shit, and I think they expected this from her, and it was like really cringeworthy to watch, and it was like, what's the fucking point of this, right? Like, it's obviously like interesting and funny to like point and laugh at like crazy Republicans, but there are Republicans who are level-headed. Like I think they're
like The Rock.
And I think
and John Cena.
A lot of comedians, a lot of people in Hollywood tend to sway Democratic, and so I think this was them basically being able to like, hey, even though this roast is sort of about Rob Lowe, let's all fucking point and laugh at a Republican, right? And I don't think that was in good taste, to be honest.
No, but see, if you look at it as let's all point and make fun of Ann Coulter, it's in very good taste.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt it as, because maybe that's just us being knowledgeable of that. Like, oh, not all Republicans are crazy NRA people.
Yeah, but it's just like they set her up to fail, and I think like to me, that's not what the roast should be about, you know? Like
it's about making fun of
and
Rob
why
Lowe.
they put on The Situation.
I don't know. It was just a weird thing. So like, I guess I'll get like what your guys' take on the situation of not the situation, but of Ann Coulter, and what you guys sort of thought about it. Because I like, it was hard to watch. Her entire bit was just really like cringy. Fucking cringeworthy. And it's because it's like she knew she was speaking to the wrong crowd about it. She knew that she was not in the right crowd to talk about those things, and yet she still did it. And they knew that she was not going to succeed. So it's so weird. Like, I don't know. What are you guys' point of view on this?
I'm going to repeat what Jewel said. As a feminist, I cannot approve of some of the things that have been said tonight. As someone who hates Ann Coulter, I am delighted.
Yeah, Jewel was there as well. Why
was Jewel there?
Who the fuck knows?
Was it part of her intuition?
She did sing at one point. Oh. I know. She brought on a guitar and it was like, okay. It's all about... Yeah, that's basically what it was.
You're my wonder, Rob Lowe.
Man, they sure did deal Ann Coulter or Rob Lowe.
But it was even obvious before she went up, right? That this was a bad idea.
It felt set up.
As soon as you noticed her hooves.
Yeah, but every time they shot to her, she was never like laughing. You know, like every joke made to anybody, they're like, oh, ha, like fucking the other guest example, Peyton Manning. We're like every piece of shit that they throw at Peyton, he's just holding back like tears from laughing, right? And Ann Coulter, every shot, she's just like,
I don't think she can laugh, honestly.
I don't think she has feelings besides anger towards
she's
people
like a husk
who speak, as she calls it, the squiggle language.
God. and that's sort of the like. I don't understand like why they asked her to come on. I don't understand why she agreed to go on. I don't know. It was just a weird situation.
Irrelevant, and she needed somewhere to sell her new book about how she wants to
no talk shows
suck Trump's orange little baby carrot.
Ugh, gross. So it's just I thought it was all just in really weird taste, and I just don't understand why we need to have someone to obviously fail on the roast. And not everybody fails obviously every year. Like Martha Stewart did really well last year with Justin Bieber. Yeah, but there are a lot of people who do fail. The situation is a very prime example of stop picking at your fingernails during the show. Stop it. Stop it.
It's his way to ponder.
Stop it. Oh my God. So, I don't know. It's just something I wanted to talk about a little bit, just because I enjoyed the roast for the most part, but like that entire segment felt weird to me, not because she bombed, but because of like
she was outlined to
why she bombed.
Failed.
And I'm not trying to defend her. I'm not trying to say she's a good person, but I just thought it was just a overall weird choice for the roast, right?
It's a genius choice though, because it's just like, oh,
I mean, the roast should like, I feel like it was an excuse to do a roast of Ann Coulter, because there was no way Ann Coulter would have agreed to do a roast of herself, to have a show based on herself roasting herself.
Though, and I guess it's the only way to get it.
But that's what the entire show turned into, right? Like the biggest joke that anybody was ever was able to make about Rob Lowe was, "Ha, you had sex with underage girls," and like that's the deepest it ever got, you know. But then they were able to go so fucking deep into Ann Coulter, right? And that's what the night turned into.
Her face is going way deep into herself.
Damn, even here.
Shit. I think we all know what the best roast joke of all time still is. Weed's here. Weed's so great, I'd bet he'd lend me $5,000. Have you never seen that video?
No.
It was this college humor video where it was like a roast but with different drugs.
Oh.
I just think of that line a lot. Weed's so great, I'd bet he'd lend me $5,000.
So I guess the point of this topic was to just ask, like, what's the point of bringing in like outside people? Like, why don't we just bring in people that are obviously close to Rob Lowe, that are also famous, and like have some of the regulars, like the bald fat dude who's on every single roast.
They're trying to see if she can smile to finally reveal her her makeup cracking and revealing the Baphomet underneath.
The lizard person.
Oh my god.
Buy my novel.
She is not powerful enough to be a lizard person.
So I honestly think like she's obviously a shitty person. She has like terrible beliefs and all of this stuff, but I just think it was overall a weird choice, and I don't understand like everybody was like, even the SNL kid I thought was like a weird choice. He's like, I have no idea why I'm here. He straight up says that at the end of his roast. It's like you fucked up in saying that a little bit.
The entire time you see, every time like it cuts back to her reacting to a joke, you just see her clicking her eye fingers.
So I don't know. I think I think the concept of the roast just sort of needs to be improved upon. I think there needs to be more of a focus on like bringing in other celebrities that are a little more close to the celebrity that we're
you would
roasting.
think would be the immediate
like
rotation.
At the beginning of the roast, you see they do a bit with
David Spade.
Not Tina Fey,
Amy Poehler.
with Amy Poehler. But then she's only in that bit. It was like it would have made sense for Amy, like someone like Amy Poehler to be on that.
Yeah,
on that, or maybe Chris Pratt, because that dude's fucking funny.
Yeah.
And they were on that show together for a while, and so I think the concept of the roast, like bringing in these like weird outside people, is just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
You ever wanted your friends to do a roast of you?
No,
I want them to do one of me. I think it'd be hysterical.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. And that the reason I don't want to do a roast of me, because I feel like it could easily turn into, like, it starts out funny and shit, and then it turns into, like, fuck you. Fuck you.
You mean that episode of The Office where they do a roast of Michael?
Oh, yeah.
And it just gets insensitive.
It gets, like, really, like, real and shit. But I
just, like, goes up to the mic. Maybe the reason that you and her never worked out wasn't because of her. It was because of you.
Yeah, because I feel like a roast between all of our friends, like, I don't think... I love all you guys. I don't think a lot of us are truly funny. I think you're funny in your own way, and I think you would be able to roast people really well because you would be able to write it out well. I think a lot of our friends and, like, sort of like, people's friends group in generals, like, they can't separate the... difference between, oh, I'm shit-talking you, and, oh, I'm shit-talking you, but I'm also making it into a joke about something, shit-talking with a point. Talking shit with a point.
I love roasting people and then just turning to Daniel and going hard on him. Just like, Daniel, you ever think that maybe the reason that none of your relationships have ever worked is because you're incapable of maintaining actual strong relationships with people who you can't view as anything other than sex objects?
That's got really real.
Audience laughter. Audience laughter.
So that I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. It was just,
it's a good point, though.
Yeah, it was just something weird. It was on my mind. I just needed to get it out there.
What I was saying earlier, it's like it's a genius choice because it's like Ann Coulter to
again. We just
sympathize.
We just needed a roast on Ann Coulter. That's what the roast really wanted to
really
be.
Roundabout, but it was just like that's the perfect like Republican icon to like draw no sympathy easily from. So it's like, it's hard to.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Talking Shit was brought to you by Danny Juarez, who's our $10 Patreon supporter. Or if you support us, you support us on patreon.com/BCG for $10 a month, you get a shout out on every episode of Talking Shit for that month. You can follow Danny Juarez on Twitter @StokedDanny. He hosts a podcast. I forget what it is. I didn't look it up, just like last week. But if you follow him on Twitter, he talks about it a lot. I think it's called
Killing in the Name, and then the riff to Killing in the Name written out phonetically.
I think it's called Illustrious Magic. I could be very wrong.
That's the gayest.
I think that's what it's called. I could be very wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, Danny. Anyway, shout out to him. Go give him a follow. Just because he's the fucking best. I'm excited to see him in the first week of November when him and I are both going to Maryland to be a part of Irrational Passion's Extra Life stream.
To marry land.
To marry the land. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Land of Marys.
in case you forgot, since the beginning of this episode, this has been Talking Shit. It's BCG's weekly podcast where we bring in random topics of discussion. We talk some shit about those topics. If you like that, head on over to patreon.com/BCG. Give us $1 a month and you get every full audio version of the episode early before the episode goes up on YouTube, where it's broken up topic by topic, Monday through Thursday, and before the entire audio version of the episode is available for everybody on SoundCloud, on our RSS feed, and on Stitcher. Don't know what Stitcher is? Go get the Stitcher app on your fucking phone store thing, and go to Stitcher and go to Stitcher.com, where you can listen to over 40,000 shows about dildos and cars. We're not sponsored by them. We just hope one day they will sponsor us. Anyway. Be on the lookout. I talked about Patreon. We're going to be making some changes to Patreon soon, so be on the lookout for that. I'll be talking about that soon.
Can we add
maybe
in
the next?
Can we add a tier where every month they get a signed picture of me?
One randomly selected headshot of Henry.
That might be like we might do that like a limited one and make that like a ridiculous amount, like $50. Like only one person can get it a month, and they have to pay $50 to get a signed picture of you. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Every month it's Alex.
Anyway, be on the lookout for that. You can follow us on like Twitter, or just keep coming back here to get updates on that, or go to patreon.com/BCG and sort of look out on there to look out for updates. Anyway, I stopped doing this on the show, and I decided I want to start doing it again to sort of shout out our Twitter handles. I stopped doing that for a while. I want to go back to that. You can follow.
Couldn't handle it.
You can follow Henry and Max here. Henry is at Henrosaurus. Max is at ASAP_Saki. I am at Banandler Chong, and we are collectively at Bayazona Gamers. You can follow all of us at all of those accounts if you so wish. You can follow my account. I post a lot of updates for all things BCG related, and I also just tweet about just random shit as well. Max just tweets about memes, and Henry also tweets about memes.
Oh no, I tweet about sad stuff.
Oh, sad
memes with
memes integrated into the sad stuff.
I tweet about absolute goddamn nonsense. Like walks into the club with a Dunkleostis openly tattooed on my dick.
And you have the most followers out of all of us, so you're doing something.
26.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
And you can also follow our tech guy who makes all of this cool stuff happen at 7Morse, but the O in Morse is a 0. You can find all of that. All of the links for those things are in the description below. Anyway, thank you, Henry, Max, for being here this week. Touching?
Touch.
No touching.
Spade.
They don't allow bees in here.
Bees.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I hope to see you guys next week for some more shit talking. But until then, keep talking shit. Thank you.